Surprisingly, this little heater heats up my like 2.5 car garage pretty dang well. So while we are waiting for the heat to kind of get up in the garage, yeah, these boxes have been sitting here for a few weeks now. We still have to put the Charger 1 in here, so we always have some power going to the back to help charge up our solar systems or our power banks and stuff like that. We still have the Apex power boost. We have this has been sitting here forever, the Apex wheel valve stems and the TerraFlex ball joints. So we still have a lot to get done, and I still have some time because the big trip is not until like way next year. So just been slowly but surely getting some stuff done. So let's unbox the power box or the power brakes and let's see what's inside of it. Ever since I actually bought the Jeep itself, the braking has not been that good. It's actually been almost kind of scary at times because I didn't think the Jeep was going to stop at all. Probably due to the oversized tires and the heavy rims. The Dirt Life rims are pretty heavy, and with pushing the 37s and my next set of tires are going up to 38s, I think it's definitely due for a brake job. And I don't know who owned it before me or anything like that, but instead of going all out and buying the Delta brakes from TerraFlex, I'm going to try the Power Stop brakes first. I hear a lot of good things about these. They do an incredible overview of it. I'll put the link in the description down below, but they have some proprietary stuff on their brake pads. So let's just open it up and let's dive into it. So these are side Pacific, like right here, it even says front driver's side. It says right here, front side passenger. Nice thing is they do give you some grease. They give you some new boots, some hardware, and then the brake pads themselves. So I didn't open up this box while I opened it up to make sure, but all this is for the rear, this is for the front, and these things are massive. But so these right here, but they do say go 45 miles an hour, then you have to like slam on the brakes to 10 miles an hour without stopping, and then you want to drive around. You want to kind of do these little steps to break these pads in, so you guys don't get kind of warped or anything like that. But then you just drive around to help cool them off, and then you're all set. So shouldn't take you very long. Go up and down that, if your street a couple times at 40 and slam them down to 10, then slow down from 35 to 5 miles an hour. You do that a few times. But there's so many, I know there's a lot of videos on these, so I'm not really going to get into too big of a detail, but I want to really see if these things really truly do make a big difference. Like I said, the brakes on there are probably the factory ones, and with the oversized tires and being heavy, the braking is really terrible. So we are going to start with the front and then go to the rear and then kind of go from there. So I'm not going to go into a complete breakdown on how to actually remove the brakes, because there are a lot of videos out there, and I'm probably assuming that most of you know how to do a brake job. It's pretty simple. It's just really a couple bolts on the backside, pull off the caliper, and then swap out the rotors and put everything right back together. So let's go ahead and jack up the Jeep, and we'll get both passenger and driver's side tires off and go from there. So you guys see this little screw right here, especially if you don't know how to really take off your brakes. Take this thing, you're going to grab a T30, you're going to remove this, and then just throw that bolt away, because nothing is worse than stripping out those threads. It's there for factory. It is there basically to hold the brake on, or I should say the caliper on, while it's being installed. You don't need it. There's no function to it for you. You can put it back on, but if you put it back on, definitely put some anti-seize on those threads. I always take those bolts off and throw them away. That's one thing I probably know. This thing has never got a brake job, and it definitely probably could actually use one. So it's kind of good that we're doing this anyway. So highly recommend just taking those and chuck them right in the trash can. Because if you don't and they season there and you strip it out, you got to do some drilling and it's kind of more of a pain. So just do yourself a favor and take it off. And then while you're taking this off, make sure you put pressure against it. Since I got nobody to hold the brake, put some pressure, hold these down. It should, there we go. Should just pop loose just by holding these things down. Like I said, that's a T30. And today's trash can, because I already took off this other one right here, is going to be the power stop boxes. This probably would be a good time for me to put on the Terraflex ball joints, but I am too lazy, to be honest. And I got other stuff to do today. So we'll just run through this one, and then the other side we'll put it on fast forward. So all you're going to have to really do is don't remove this one. This is actually for your brake line. We're not changing out the actual caliper itself. What we are going to do, we are going to remove this bolt. This bolt down here. Let's get the camera back a little bit more. This one down here, and then there's going to be 2 bolts down right here that we're going to take off, and then this whole thing will slide out. First off, you should pop your hood. So one thing I actually did forget to do is pop the hood, and then you're going to want to remove the reservoir cap on the brake system. So like I said, we are going to remove this bolt and this bolt right here, and that's going to be able to allow us to remove this actual or the top part of the caliper and be able to, there we go. Luckily it's still pretty brand new. If you have a lot of rust on there, it is a good thing to put a little bit of anti-seize. There you go. And now if you have like a little cable, you're just going to want to hang this up so you're not stretching out the brake line. Wrap this through. You can use a coat hanger, use whatever you will use to hang it. One thing nice about the Terraflex Falcon shocks, you can just hang this thing right off the, yeah. Paid advertisement, you get these things at like Home Depot. So they're super nice and they're really tough to, you ain't gonna break those things. So now we have the actual brake pads themselves, which we can just slide these things actually off. I mean, they're definitely still had actually a lot of pad left on them, but ugh. I mean, you can actually see the kind of the difference. Chrysler actually chops off a little bit of this like little top layer and the bottom layer. Here, you know, you're getting the full pad itself. Yeah, this is more for like wearing, so when the tire comes around. But yeah, you can definitely see that this thing has been either missing some. I don't think it's missing, but it's definitely, you're getting a little bit more pad and stopping power behind this. But this is the magic sauce. Now we are going to remove this and this. This is going to be able to allow us to actually remove the whole caliper itself. And boom. You can put your bolt back in there. I'm not going to. Don't think it's really worth it. Then now we're just going to put the new hardware on. So one thing you're also going to want to remember which side your orientation for your new tabs. So just look at this little bump out right here is going to go facing the outsides of the caliper, not the inside. So just pull these things off. Pull it off. And then, like I said, this isn't really necessary, but I always grab my little wire brush and just kind of clean up all the little rust spots. Grab our pads. So what we're going to do now is just put back on our caliper. Not going to worry about tightening anything down right now. So why couldn't they just make a flat spot so you can fucking do that? So just so you guys know that the big bolt right here is 148. These are 22. So you just torque them all down and you're all good to go. So now we have to break in the brake pads properly. So what we have to do is 5 times we have to go up to 40 miles an hour and do up to, and we so I'm gonna kind of screenshot the braking period right here. So what we have to do first is 5 times we have to go up to 40 miles an hour and bring it down to 10 without stopping, go back up to 40 miles an hour, and then after 5 times of that we go 35 miles an hour, break it down to 5, and then we just have to drive around for 5 minutes. So we're gonna be driving around in circles. So we're gonna go up to about 40 miles an hour, slam down the brakes. All right, there's uno. Don't want to do it around the kid and the dog. So we're gonna go back up to 40. Around here. All right, definitely feels a lot better than the factory ones that I already had. So that is already a plus. The other one, my feet just felt like it already sank straight into the ground. The biggest thing on breaking these things in is not stopping. So if you have to kind of come to a crawl, if you're at a stop sign or something like that, just crawl it and then kind of whack the gas. So that's kind of what we are doing here. I know he turns up here, so I'm gonna get up to 40. All right, so we're at 10. 10. Do. I will say these brakes do feel very nice actually now. They do feel a little squishy, but I do think that is, I have to actually swap around my, let's do one more 40. Oh yeah, it definitely brings, you know, so now we did it 5 times. For the 40, now we're gonna have to go up to the 35 and bring it down to 5 miles an hour. So go ahead and do that. This one won't be too hard. And bring it down to 5. All right, we'll do it over here. Watch it, they're tasty. Bring it down to 5. All right, we'll go down to 5. There's nobody behind me. All right, so we're not stopping. We're not stopping. All right. Nope. All right, so we got right down to 5. Got a couple more. All right. And then when you come to a stop, there you go. When you come to a stop, they want you to literally slam the brakes on. You don't have to lock them up by any means, but you definitely slam, you know, hit the brakes, and you'll just get slam on the brakes. Let it come down to 5. You don't want to lock them up though, but you know, you'll know what you have to do. So. So we're going to do one more, and then we're going to drive around. Probably just going to drive to Portillo's and get me a hot dog. And yeah. And that is literally the braking period is. I will say the night and day differences is pretty noticeable. So we're gonna do one more power. Five. There you go. All right. Now we did our 5 major big stops. That part's broken in, and now we just got to do like the cool down mode. I do got my wallet. Yep. All right. So now let's drive 5 minutes. And then try not to stop at any. You want to keep your tires constantly moving. You don't really want to stay at a stop sign. So if you got to kind of work your way around, now if you stop, just creep them. The problem is what you want to do is drive, but you don't want to have the imprint of the you don't want the imprint of the brakes on the rotor. So that's why. So probably here I'm gonna have to take a left. It's gonna be kind of hard for me to. Yeah. Just go here. So right now it's 41. So we already been kind of driving around for about a minute. Go here. Obviously, I'm not going to record in 5 minutes. Now, are these going to be as good as the Delta brakes from TerraFlex? You know, I'm not really going to say yes or no because I don't have the Delta brakes, but I have had the big brake kit from TerraFlex on my JKU, and it was amazing. I just did the fronts, and then the backs, it was like a spacer, just enough to lift up the piston, and then it kind of just relocates it up a little bit more. But that kit was awesome. The clamping force, I mean, I was able to stop on a dime, no big deal. Now these are just, you know, pads and rotors replacements. And whatever their technology is in that pad. So I would kind of go around with that. Let's see if I can slow down here. But definitely, oh, good, all right, stop. But for saving roughly about $1,000 or so, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with this. Just those few little stops. The Jeep didn't feel like it wanted to just keep rolling. That's what the biggest thing that I was having with the other, with the factory ones. They just felt like they just want to keep rolling due to the mass of the rotating mass of the tires and the rims and the weight of the vehicle. It didn't feel like it stopped. There's a few times I thought I was going to hit somebody. Yeah, so changing out brakes was going to be no questions asked. Now it really feels like where I can actually stop. So I'm really liking this. Good, I don't have to stop. But as so far, I'm pretty happy, even though we just did the testing or the braking a little period. So yeah, right now we're just kind of cooling it down. Unfortunately, my thing flew that way, but yeah, this has been. I'm liking it so far. It feels really good. And my pads on the factory ones weren't very. I mean, they were used, but they weren't like overly done used. It was okay. It was still good. So I don't know why it felt like that, but I do think the brake fluid is going to have to be changed. So that's going to be probably one of my next things I have to do to it is just change out the brake fluid. So yeah, I'll have to get that done and serviced. So yeah, if you're at a red light, what I would do is put the Jeep in neutral, so you're not really getting any clamping force on the rims itself while you're just sitting there. And yeah, so just so you are not compressing those pads onto the rotor. And now, once it's in drive, tap the brakes real quick, put it back in drive, and then take off. So it's not going to get that imprint on the rotors. They do have the slots, so it is dissipating the heat a lot better than the factory, because you can, damn waivers, and they had Jeeps or ducks. I mean, they had the damn ducks. So I think this Jeep build is coming right along. I am going to do a full walk around video probably on my next one or so, because I have seen some people on some forums and on Facebook, asking about two-door overland builds and what everybody's doing. So I'm gonna keep driving around for a couple minutes, and once we get back in the garage, we're gonna wrap this video up. I know we don't know now, yeah, we're keeping it wild. So these power stop brakes, they're off-road or extreme off-road brakes. They seem very, very good. Now, are they going to be better than if you do a complete caliper swap with better compression force or over the factory calipers? Probably not. I know they make calipers. I'm sure if you swap them out to those, but I heard they're pretty close to the same as the factory ones. I think if I went with the Delta, yes, there is a price difference. I hear the Delta brakes are like huge, top-notch, almost like Brimbos where you can stop on a dime. But the power stop brakes are really good. I'm really actually pretty pleased with it. You know, it feels like, you know, I'm actually being able to stop. The mass of the tires feel like they're actually stopping versus it didn't matter how hard I pushed on the pedal. It just felt like the Jeep just still want to roll with the tire mass and just the weight of the vehicle in general. But I definitely think that this is a necessary upgrade over the stock. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be better than the Delta, but for something that's, you know, basically a parts swap-in or replacement, it's really very good. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. And so if you're in the market or even looking at brake upgrades, I would highly recommend getting the Extreme Package or the Extreme Off-Road Brake Kit from Power Stop. Seemed very, very good. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. So yeah, we got a lot more videos coming up. I know I've been kind of slow, and I've been trying to get some stuff all worked around. So thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.